In 1981, Blue Öyster Cult was at the top of their game. The album, Fire of Unknown Origin, was a massive smash hit, reclaiming their position as a platinum-selling arena powerhouse with the success of the single Burning for You. They had the world in their hands and fans couldn't wait to see what they would do next. But just 2 years later, that momentum came to a sudden halt. The band released Revölution by Night, an album specifically intended to capitalize on the success of their previous record. Instead of reaching new heights, the album became what critics call a commercial dud. It failed to go even gold in the United States and struggled to reach number 93 on the Billboard chart. For many, this 1983 release marked the exact moment the band jumped the shark, starting a gradual decline from which they would never fully recover. This is the story behind the album that tried to follow a masterpiece, but ended up signaling the end of an era. Before the album even started, Blue Öyster Cult faced a huge problem. For the first time ever, the original lineup was broken. Their longtime drummer and key songwriter, Albert Bouchard, was fired during the previous tour. This was a major blow because Bouchard was a central part of their creative chemistry. To fill the gap, the band hired their roadie, Rick Downey, to take over on the drums. With a new drummer in place, the band decided to change their sound. They wanted to be relevant to the times. The 1970s style of multi-layered, high-production rock was fading away. To get a modern sound, they hired producer Bruce Fairbairn. He's the guy who would later become famous for producing giant hits for bands like Aerosmith and Bon Jovi. But in 1983, he was helping Blue Öyster Cult find a mainstream hard rock identity. One of the most interesting parts of the album's history is the return of Patti Smith. To understand her role on the Revölution by Night, we have to look back to the early 1970s. Patti Smith was in a relationship with the band's keyboardist, Alan Lanier. She was so talented that the band even asked her to join them, but she chose to start her own solo career instead. Even though she wasn't a member, Smith became a longtime collaborator. She shared poems that the band turned into famous songs like Baby Ice Dog, Career of Evil, and The Revenge of Vera Gemini. By 1983, Smith and Lanier had broken up, and she was married to Fred Sonic Smith. However, her connection to Blue Öyster Cult remained. For the Revölution by Night, guitarist Buck Dharma found a poem she had submitted years earlier. The poem became the lyrics for the song Shooting Shark. It was one of the few musical projects Smith did during the early 80s. The album opens with a burst of energy called Take Me Away. The song was a collaboration between Eric Bloom and Canadian rocker Al Nova. It started as a song Nova was writing called Psycho Ward, but Bloom helped to rewrite the chorus and gave it new life. With its driving guitar riffs and catchy chorus, it was perfect for AOR radio and even got the music video on MTV. Then there is Shooting Shark. Which many fans consider one of the band's finest moments. It's a long, 7-minute track that uses a lot of synthesizers and has a pop rock feel. It's a cryptic love song about a man who tries to end a relationship 3 times but always comes back. Shooting Shark also features a very famous guest. The funk-style slap pop bass on the track was played by Randy Jackson, who later became a famous judge on the TV show American Idol. The song reached number 16 on the mainstream rock charts and became one of MTV's most requested clips. But I found it interesting that Randy Jackson was on this song, so let me talk a little bit more about that. Long before it became a household name as a judge on American Idol or a prominent A&R executive, he was a session musician. He was hired as a guest performer for the album and provided the distinct bass work specifically for Shooting Shark. Jackson brought this very contemporary 1980s sound to the song. His performance is characterized by the slap pop bass and it shreds throughout the track. This contributed to a unique pop rock and synthesizer heavy atmosphere. You may also find an interesting note that Jackson also toured and recorded with many other major rock and jazz acts during this time, most known for Journey and Jean-Luc Ponty, and that helped establish the technical reputation that eventually led to his session work with Blue Öyster Cult. But back to the album, The Revölution by Night, because beyond the singles, the album is a mix of different styles, so let me talk about more of the deep cuts. Eyes on Fire is a song that feels like a throwback to the band's 1970s era, blending a fresh 80s sound with a classic rock roots. Veins brings back the traditional hard rock energy and fast guitars and a sense of urgency. Shadow of California is a fan favorite. It's a dark, menacing track that links back to the band's Imaginos mythology, a complex story created by the manager, Sandy Pearlman. Some fans interpret it as a story about a motorcycle gang being corrupted by supernatural symbols. Feel the Thunder has a psychedelic introduction that revisits the band's interest in biker culture. Let Go is a bit of a departure with a teeny bopper vibe and bluesy groove that was quite different from the earlier, more serious work. Dragon Lady shows off the band's heavier side. Some listeners describe it as almost speed metal, comparable to their older track Tattoo Vampire. Light Years of Love ends the album. It's a dreamy, synth-driven ballad written by Joe Bouchard. Allows listeners to contemplate the journey they just took. Even though the music was solid, The Revölution by Night failed to go gold in the United States. It peaked at number 93 on the Billboard 200. And there are a few reasons why it struggled, so let's talk about them. First was the artwork. It's described by some as mundane, unmemorable. In 1983, people often bought records based on how cool the cover looked in the store, and this one just didn't stand out. Second, while they tried to embrace the 80s sound, some fans felt they lost their timeless quality. The use of synth drums and 80s production made the album sound very much like its specific year, rather than the unique, mysterious sound Blue Öyster Cult was known for in the 1970s. Lastly, the departure of Albert Bouchard changed the band's identity. Without his songwriting, the album felt like an AOR album, and it was at a time when other heavy metal bands were getting more heavier, more aggressive. Despite its commercial struggles, The Revölution by Night has gained a lot of respect over the years. Today, many fans see it as a severely underrated release. It shows the band was willing to experiment and adapt to a changing world while still keeping their core identity. Tracks like Shooting Shark and Shadow of California remain essential parts of the Blue Öyster Cult story. The album stands as a testament to the band's resilience during a time of great change. It might not have been the massive hit they hoped for, but it remains a compelling and dynamic piece of rock history. If you want to check out the story of the previous album, Fire of Unknown Origin, it's right here. It should be appearing on your screen right now. Thanks for watching. Please like the video. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you're not already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.